Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's live stream. We are live answering your questions about Unreal Engine, game dev, anything you really want to ask at all. All you have to do is put your questions into chat, and I'll try and grab as many as I can during our live stream here. So it's been I can't even remember. It's been such a weird, wild roller coaster of weeks. I can't remember if I did a live stream last week. I don't think I did, but we're back again this week. It's been a crazy couple of weeks getting everything set up. If you don't know, my game Mimic has been announced for PlayStation and Xbox. You can wishlist it now on PlayStation and soon be able to wishlist it on Xbox. We'll definitely announce that when we get closer to the time. The reason why I've been so busy though is that we are exhibiting Mimic plus our new game, The Chicken, over at GDLX in London. So if you are in London area, especially like Guildford area, come over to Farnham University down there. We're doing a little indie game exhibit there, and you can get your hands on Mimic. You can say hi to me, and also check out our new game Chicken for the very first time. I don't think anyone's ever played it outside of me, so this will be really interesting to see people's reaction to that game. Anywho, so I can see some questions have already started flooding, so we'll jump into Unreal and start answering some questions. There's a few questions I keep seeing through in comments as well, and I was thinking, like, actually get your opinion first on this. I get so many comments on videos, so many messages on Discord, so many messages on LinkedIn, so many messages on email, blah 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 blah, everywhere. And I feel like one thing that might be quite interesting for people to do, or to do a video or live stream, don't know what yet. Going through like comments on YouTube, for example, and answering people's questions. I don't know if that will help people. I don't know, but it's an idea I've had floating in my head. I don't know if that's something that would be of interest, of worth to people. But yeah. Anywho, let's jump in. So our first question is from Majid. I love your channel, thank you. I really need to know how to start a gameplay immediately to a cutscene and then play. How? Okay, so this is what the level blueprint's going to be used for. So if you want the level to start with a level sequence, so I'll make a quick one. Yep, there we go. And we'll add a little camera. And we'll just... We'll do this, and we'll just transform it over time to there, so it goes like that. And then I'll make it end here, okay? So let's say I want it to immediately start this animation straight away. So you've got a couple of ways of doing it. First of all, with level sequence, you can just tick on autoplay, and it should play it straight away. Okay, it'll go into the game. Alternatively, you can go to level blueprint and force it to play straight away. So if I turn off that autoplay, you can, with it selected, so select the little clapboard icon, go to level blueprint, and on begin play, you can get a reference to that sequence and take it to play. That will do it as well. See? And so on. Now, if you want your level sequence to end the level and go to a different level, for example, again, multiple ways of doing that, but you can actually handle it inside the level sequence if you wish. So let's go back into the level sequence, and in here I'm going to add an event track to my sequence here. So I'm going to add event trigger, and I'm going to put an event right near the end, for example, and right click on that point. It adds, go to endpoint and create new endpoint. And now this is the event that fires off when that event's reached. So you just do open level. Yeah, and you put in the name of the level you want to go into. Simple as that. Another way you can do it as well is you can determine when it's finished. So let's say, for example, we go back to our level map here. If the sequence player is there, I can also do a binding on it being finished. And I can make that then fire off other events too, if I wanted to as well. But honestly, I personally keep it all inside of the level sequence if I can help it, as it's all then tidy all together. But yeah, there you go. Next question. Let me just take out the old sequence there, so I don't get that playing every time. Hopefully that helps you out, Mahid. Yeah. Okay. Ben Lewis, perfect timing. I have a question. I've encountered a problem when switching cameras from third person to first person. When I switch to first person, I lose my jump and sprint ability. I can't figure out why. That is interesting. Especially those two things. I can't imagine why those two things would break. I would imagine that you're doing something a bit abstract or bespoke with the way you're handling the transition between third person to first person. At which point you may be like disabling some inputs or mapping context or things like that. Or are you switching to a different character completely? If you're going to a different character completely, I would imagine that you've got a problem with in here. I bet you've done something like a begin play or controller changed. You're doing the mapping context here. But then when you switch to a different one, are you maybe removing that context and adding another one? No. It depends on how you've set up your transition. Let me know in chat if you can describe it, how you've been doing the transition. Might give us a point as to why it would do that. I can't think immediately why those two options won't work anymore. As they're not related to camera or anything like that. Usually the problems you find when you transition from third to first person is going to be camera related stuff for obvious reason, because that's the only thing that's really changed. But yeah. Save as awesome. Hey Ryan, I have a stutter in my game every time I swing a melee weapon and display a flipbook. I've disabled the flipbook, but I still get the stutter. What is the best way to debug stutters in Unreal? Clarify for me, Save as awesome. The stutter, is it a frame rate drop, or is it the animation itself of the character that's stuttering? Like, is the whole game stuttering, or is it just the character stuttering? That'd be good to know. Hi Duke, hi Astronomy, hi Princess, hi Meddler. Alchemist Lab. Question, how do I do visual effects for status effects? How do I attach a fire Niagara or emitter to an enemy of burned or shocked? Sure, okay. So I'm going to just duplicate this, and this will be our NPC. Okay, I'm going to drag that into the scene there. Cool. Okay, so let me say I want to put him on fire, like all over his body. Okay, so let's just make a quick fire Niagara system. Create an empty one. Okay. And in here, we'll create a emitter. And we'll give that the fire particle. I think there's one in here that we can use. Yep. Fire sub V, and that is 8x8 if I remember rightly. Yeah, 8x8. You need to know that because you need to go to sub UV here and turn on that 8x8. And then on particle update, we're going to do spawn rate of like 5-ish. And on particle update here, we're going to animate without sub UV animation. And we want to pick the sprite renderer there. Nope, not 8x8. What is it? Hang on. One, two, three, 6x6. Yeah, sub UV there, and we are going to make it do that faster. Maybe its age we want to change then. So we're going to change that down to like 1 second. Like that. And we'll say do 5 of them. Okay. And we'll give it a color. Why not? Color from curve. And there you go. Cheap 30 fire effect. One thing I will probably do though is do scaling. So on the sprite size here, I'm going to change that to uniform. If you want to have a particle effect scale over time, you need to make sure sprite size has been set to something else other than unset. If you leave it as unset, it won't work. It won't even show correctly. So you need to make sure that's turned on, and then you can go into particle update and scale sprite size. And I'm just going to bring it up there. Just add enter key. There you go. Bring it up there. And we'll just set the default size there to 100. So you see, there you go. Let's bring that down actually. Let's do 20. That'll do. Not do it fast. So the main thing about this is that we want it to spawn all over their body. And the way you can do that is by changing the spawn location. So the particle spawn here, we're going to go to skeletal mesh location. And skeletal mesh location, by default, I believe will look at whatever it's attached to. So if you attach it to a mesh, it will wrap itself around the mesh. But we want to preview it whilst we're working on it. So let's go to the preview mesh and give that the mannequin so we can see it working. We'll scroll down in a bit. Okay, there, default mesh. We'll leave the default mesh there. Okay, so you can see how it's spawning now, but it's spawning like as a shape of a person. More obvious when I turn the spawn rate up. So if I turn it up to 100, you'll see it more obviously. Yeah, there's a person. And we can do various things with that skeleton now. We can do how it spawns. So by default, it spawns on the bones randomly. But you can also make it spawn on the vertices if you want to. So I'll go to vertices or triangles even. And it will spawn more randomly around the body like that. Okay. So once you've got that, you just need to make it attached to it. So, oh, need to fix that error. There you go. Yeah, so now we can attach it to a character. So let me attach it to this guy, right? So when you say set them on fire, you want to make sure that you're adding it to the mesh of the character. Okay, so we're going to go add an ecosystem. There's the fire. Okay, and it should pick up and just put all over the body. Haha, of course not. Okay, let's have a look. Make sure that's set. Source mode, default, attach parent. We'll do attach parent. It should be that one. Doesn't even look like it's animating either. What's going on there? What have I forgotten? Preview mesh, attach parent. No, that should be it. So attach parent. Only the parent actor or component the system is attached to. Yeah. I don't know. That should work. It's not even animating. Or maybe because it's spawning so many, it looks like it's not animating. Let me just turn it down a bit so we can see if it is animating or not. Change it down to 5. Oh, well, yeah, doesn't really matter. Oh no, it is animating. Okay, so it's just not spawning correctly. It's not sampling the mesh correctly. Why not? Skeletal mesh location. Skeletal mesh. The source of the mesh is the attached parent. Source actor we're not using. Obviously, you can use default mesh, and it'll just use the one we assign to it here. But you ideally want it to work for any character. So when you attach it to them, it'll burn regardless of their shape. Why won't that work? Yeah, it's spawning at the root. Yeah, I don't know why though. Have I played Schedule 1? No, I haven't. I don't know. That should work. Alternatively, you can set the source. Yeah, you could do that. So if you do source like that, you have to tell it to set the source in here, for example, or whatever, begin play, whatever you want to do it on. So if I do it on here, for example, and you do set source actors. Don't know what override name was, but make array, put in self, like that. No, it still doesn't want to do it. Okay, I'm confused. Definitely done something wrong. What have I done wrong? Initial mesh. Any ideas from people? Why this wouldn't work? I'll change back to attached parent. That's space is what I can do. Exclude root check. We're not using the skeleton. We're doing vertices. Yep. Is there something I have to do here now? There we go. Okay, needs to be using a GPU, not CPU. There you go. Right, so we can turn it back on now. Should have ignored the CPU message it gave me. Yeah, so make sure it's using GPU, not CPU. Probably because it has to sample the vertices, which are obviously only on the GPU. But anyway, let's wrap this up to 100. And your character will look like they're on fire. Okay, so you just do that. There you go. So if you want to make it like sparks, you can make it spark. You do whatever you like, and it will appear on top of them. Yeah, and it obviously it's attached to the vertices, so it'll animate with them as well. So let me put on my character so I can run around with it. So I'm on fire there. Oh, I've got to make it local space. Yeah, so it'll leave like a trail behind me because they're spawned in world space. If I want it so my character stays on fire whilst they move, which isn't entirely, well, I guess it's a bit realistic. You want to make sure it's set to local space. And then they'll run on fire. I'm gonna get rid of these errors because they're from the blueprint here. I didn't compile it, that's why. Anyway, right, let me yeah. Okay, so get rid of that now. Let's go to another question. I'm gonna scroll down, have a look around. This one's an easy, quick one. Vincent Evans, when finishing making a game and publishing it, how do you properly add updates and DLC afterwards? Yeah, you get this question a lot from people. So the way it works is when you upload a game to like Steam, Xbox, PlayStation, whatever it is, you're uploading the whole file. And it uses I can't remember the technical term for it, but there's a system called Perforce which uses it basically, and they use a variation of it, I think. Or it might be their own, I don't know. But basically, when you upload a game to these platforms, it will look for what's different bitwise in the project. So anything new you've added, it will replace and reshuffle it. So it will only update and patch in the new stuff. But essentially, as a developer, all you've got to do is re-upload the game. That is it. And when it re-uploads, it only re-uploads the new part. It won't re-upload anything else. So patching works nothing different. You just upload the game again. And the backend will handle the patch for you. As for DLC, the way DLC works is that it's all in the game anyway. Okay, so you're not downloading anything typically, it's already in the game. For the most of the time anyway, you're not downloading anything. It's in the game already, game files, and all you're doing is unlocking the ability to access it. So when you purchase it, you get a receipt, and you can check that receipt every time you log into the game. So when you load up the game, you check the receipt. If the player has bought the thing, then great, you give them access to the secret island or whatever. That's literally it. Yeah. If it's like inventory, like cosmetics they've got, you're just checking to see if the item in the inventory is a premium one, and if it's premium, check if they've earned the ability to unlock it. I am Medler. Do you pay Epic for sacred features of the engine to share with you with, which are not in the official docs? I get no secret special stuff. I am completely new. Jesse, is there a Patreon question? Yes, there is. I haven't looked actually. I need to check Patreon questions there. Let me double check. So there's a couple of questions on there to answer. So Lynn Mad, I don't know if that's you, Jesse. Where do you ask on Patreon? It's on Discord. There's a Discord channel for you guys on there to ask anything specific there. So Patreon member here, Lynn Mad, has asked, does anyone know of any good resources for UE packing configurations and reducing build size? The official documentation doesn't cover it in detail. Right. So a couple of things. First of all, is that the misconception people have is that the bigger your project file is, the bigger the build file will be. Not the case. The packaging will only package what it needs. Okay, so if you've got all these assets in there, don't have to worry about clearing them out or anything like that. You can leave them all in there, and the game size will come out what it needs to be. Case in point, Mimic's project file is about 200 gigabytes. The actual game file is about 5. So very, very different. But in terms of actually compressing it all down, I mean, the engine will do a lot for you, but there are a few things you can do. One is reducing things like texture size and audio size. So audio is quite an interesting one because, like, if you go into audio here, Take note that these are all mono tracks. So there's only, well, not all of them, but most of them are mono tracks. Mono. Yeah. There's a couple here that are stereo. Okay. So this stereo bird sound you may want, because it may be two very different tracks you want to be playing. But there are some cases where you don't want it to be the case. So music, usually one. Although they are doing things with the ears on that one. But anyway, if you've got something that's stereo, you can just make it mono, and that's halving the size of it straight away, for example. In terms of like textures, the compression details you have over here will help with this too. But again, it will do a lot of it for you. You don't have to worry about it too much. But getting that game size down, I will usually force the texture sizes down a bit as well. So if I brought the texture sizes down in that improved RAM as well as final memory as well. Yeah, that sort of thing. But in terms of actual packaging, no, there's nothing really new. It does it all for you quite well. You shouldn't have any issues. I don't think there are going to be major issues. I don't think there was anything in here. Yeah. Where is it? Nope, there it is. Yeah, I don't believe there is. I'll double check, but I don't think there is anything major. So there are things like for different platforms I forgot to mention. So for example, on mobile devices, you can upload a separate pack file, and the pack file is usually larger and has a lot of stuff in it, and yet it's handled in here. You turn it on. Yeah, use pack file. But generally speaking, I mean, you can mess about with some of these settings if you want, but it should be fine regardless. I don't think there's anything major. I can't think of anything major that would do it. Yeah, no. Chunks, I mean chunks. For streaming installs, yeah. So streaming installs is if you want to do something like the level 1 is going to be a one chunk, for example. You can make it then stream level 1 whilst it's downloading the rest, for example. Do things like that. But no, nothing major, I don't think. Not that I'm aware of, anyway. Okay, so Jesse, or Captain Crippen, is asking, I'm curious on AI in Unreal. Should I be using behavior trees or steer away for something more code-based? I have a game where the player can loot NPCs like they do in Skyrim or something similar. But should I use behavior trees to achieve this or something else? I also want to see if see or know a way to do NPC interaction in game, but not necessarily smart object interaction. But I should have a sword or items in my inventory system that I can grab those as well, then check his inventory for a weapon that I equip. Yeah, there's quite a bit there. So first, let's tackle the basic question first. Like, you're curious on doing AI in Unreal. Should you use behavior trees or just do code-based stuff? So, to further add even more choice to that, you've also got state trees as well. Which, by the way, videos of state trees are coming out tomorrow on Patreon. So, see a few of those coming out. Important to note with these and many other things inside of Unreal, they're all just tools. There's no such thing as like, if you want to do X, you must use Y. Yeah, there's very rarely that situation. Most of the time, it's like, here's all these tools. They can all do X, Y, Z things. You've now got to make this mechanic using your knowledge of what tools you have available to you. How can you make that? Yeah. So For example, the analogy I always use on this is, for example, a carpenter. Okay, if a carpenter only has the tools of, say, a chisel and a hammer, and you ask them to make a table, will they make a table? Yeah, probably. Um, but it'll be made with those tools because they have those tools, they know those tools. But if another carpenter has access to like massive drill systems and things like that, like they've figured it out, they can do all these really efficient things. Could they make a table? Yes, definitely, because they've got these other tools that can do it. Could they do it more efficiently? Probably. Yeah, because they've learned that extra bit and done that extra investment into it. So it's very much in those sort of realms. When it comes to like, okay, you've got all these tools, you've got behavior trees, state trees, code, straight up. When do you use one versus the other? That's the question you should be asking yourself. It's like, okay, what would be a good use case for all of these things? So a behavior tree is good when you want something to have a decision to make. Okay. The benefit it has is that it can be very organized and very methodical about how it handles different behaviors. A state tree is similar, except well, you can have a lot more flexibility about how it navigates around the tree. So a behavior tree is very strict in how it processes it, which means it's more predictable. But a state tree isn't. You can do a lot more with it, but that lies the problem. Yeah, a lot more things can go wrong with it. So yeah, you can pick and choose really what you want. So the first thing I would do when I'm making something is I first of all write down on paper or Word or whatever, write down what it is that I want the thing to do, and try to figure out at a scalable level what would be a good system to use. And the reason why I say scalable level is a big problem new developers will make, and following like some tutorial videos as well, they'll do this too. And it's something I try to do in my videos as best I can, is try to show scalability inside the code. So there are other video people that, like for example, I'll get a comment on a video, people go like, you spent 2 episodes doing stuff like this stuff, but when's it actually going to start working? The point is that it's going to work at the end. The bit that's leading up to that is going to make it scalable, so that when I'm making a vertical slice for a game, I may have like 5 items. My inventory system will work for those 5 items. If my game got picked up by a publisher and now I've got to make 1,000 items, I don't want to be like going, oh crap, I don't know how to do that now. I should be like, yeah, no problem, because my system I've built is scalable. If I put in 1,000 items, even 1,000,000 items, it'll be fine. So try to think of what would be scalable for your game in the future in the long run. So think about what are your needs going to be. So what do you need your AI to be able to do? What do you need them to be? And things like that. In terms of looting, that's completely separate from the AI behavior tree stuff. The looting part is just they're just like an actor on the floor. They're basically a treasure chest. Yeah. So if you follow code for making a treasure chest, it's exactly the same as an NPC. It's just a treasure chest with legs. That's all it is. So look up how to do a treasure chest on my channel even, and that's it. It's exactly the same method. And if you want to make it so you can loot them when they're dead, make it so that the treasure chest can't be interacted with until they're dead. Something simple as that. But always think about scalable solutions. That's a key takeaway there. I see a lot of people, not naming any names, but I've seen some YouTube video tutorial people will do videos on how to do something, and like it'll work, and yeah, great. But the moment you want to take that further and start building it further, it'll become unmanageable or annoying to work with. You want to make your life easier, and especially if you're in a team, you want to make life easier for your team. So do think about that stuff too. Are you going to make a tutorial on the economic system? Well, the current one? Ah, it'd be broken, too buggy. But yeah, if you want me to do stuff like that, I can do. trying to find question. Higgsy Boy, would a game as complex as Dead by Daylight be feasible with purely blueprints or something like Ark Survival? Yes, totally. Dylan, could you do a review for setting up register layers and push pop functions for Common UI in blueprints? I could do. I haven't got Common UI installed for this version, but I can put that on the list of things to look at. So hey, been a while, man. How would you make a spline mesh roll properly with an actor that it follows? Try and make a Tron-like trail. I didn't use an algorithm because I didn't know how to handle the collisions. Oh, okay. Okay. So a couple of things you could do. I personally would do a Niagara with a combination of something else. But for example, I'll show you how I do it with the Niagara system. Yeah, like this. So the big thing with Niagara, at least I've yet to figure it out, is how to make it so that when a particle collision happens, it triggers an event. I could do an event triggering a particle collision, but I don't know how to do it the other way around. I'm still finding that one out. But anyway, I'll show you how to do a workaround. So we'll do a ribbon. I'll just do. Actually, I don't need that, do I? Silly. Ribbon renderer. Yeah, that'll do. Particle update spawn rate. We'll do 100. I'm going to just see it working. I'm just going to add in a velocity. For its whole forces velocity. And we'll do 100 there. And then on the ribbon width, we'll set that to direct set. Like that. Okay. Just so I can see it working. Okay, so first thing, you want to make this always face up. So on the ribbon renderer, you can do the facing mode, not the face screen, but custom. And the custom setting is bound down here. I believe it's so here, ribbon.facing, yeah. So ribbon facing here. And on this, we want it to face the y-axis. So we'll make a vector. One in the y. And oh, can't pick that. Ribbon facing binding. No, I should be able to pick that. Here's a choose the default X, Y, and Z one. Yeah, I want to pick that one. Hold up, why can't I pick that? So you could just do that. Hold up. Interesting. Yeah, I swear you used to be able to just pick up a velocity and put that, or like a a vector. But these are just particle information. Is it because I'm thinking of this one? It's because I'm thinking of this one. Yeah, because this points it out. Face and axis, bright alignment there. But ribbon, no. Oh, direct set. It's that one. That's what I want. Sorry, my bad. So yeah, it's on the initialized particle ribbon facing. It's on here. So we put in Y as 1. Okay, like that. Okay, problem solved. Anyway, we just do that, and then I'll attach that to the player character. Over here. Trail. Oh, and turn off the velocity. There you go. Yeah, there's my little light trail going on. Cool. Okay, so obviously we can't do anything collision wise with this thing. So what we could do instead, I mean, you could do it with a spline as well. I guess you just leave a spline point every few seconds on the floor behind you. But what we can do here, where am I going? Let's just raise up a little bit. Is we'll drop behind it a sort of collision box field thing. Yeah. So if I just do a very simple one of these, I'll just do an actor here, collision field, whatever. And this would be a box collision. We'll make it thin. Something like that. That'll do. And then on the event, I'm just make it jump the character. So other actor here will cast to character and tell them to jump. Okay. But what you're going to do is you're going to spawn one of these in behind you as you go. And you want to make these last for as long as the particles last. So this is 5 seconds. So these should last for 5 seconds. So in the class defaults here, we'll do lifespan 5. We'll do it a bit less, 4.5, sorry. Like that. And then as the player's running, you're just dropping that behind you. So event graph, well, we won't do it all the time. We'll do it like a tick, basically. Not tick, a timer. Timer by event. We'll do it every second, I guess. And we'll give it the actor transform. Okay. We may want to spawn it actually behind us, but we'll see how it goes with that. Oh yeah, it's colliding with us. We want to make it only does it. Yeah, we will behind us. Well, I'll tell you what actually might be easier is on the collision field is we just move the field backwards. Ooh. Like that. Okay, there we go. I'll make it loop as well. So, very simple thing. If I run around back on it myself, oh, I think I might be my spacing is a bit wrong. I have to change the timing. Let's just change the box here to be rendered. Yeah, oh yeah, it needs to be bigger. Let's change that. Oh, there. Change that to 50, 50, 50. Maybe change that to 100, like that. I don't know, rough estimate. You can play with the numbers later. Oh, I need to move it backwards a bit more. Actually, I'll make it less, so we'll do that 60. still colliding me behind me. We'll do 40, but I'll make it spawn a bit faster. So every 0.5 seconds it'll do it. Yeah, there you go. So when you're running, you're leaving these things behind you. You could do that way. The other way is do a spline mesh and leaving a spline mesh behind you. In which case, what you're doing is you're leaving a spline points behind you as you run. So much like how I was dropping these fields here, you'd have a spline like that. Oh, I wanted that timer back. Oops. This one I don't want. Spline. So on this one, we're going to add spline point. And the position is going to be our actor location. Like that. Coordinate space will be world. And yeah, it's going to keep going like that. Now, the thing is, when you add the new one on, you want to take the old one off. So it looks sort of how that makes snake, basically. So you take the spline, get number of spline points. And if that is... we'll get spline length, I guess. What you, spline length? Yeah. Get spline... length? No. What do I do? Get... I don't know, I have to work out the time and spacing of it all, but get spline point at the point index. If the spline point number of points, there you go. If that exceeds whatever amount it is, so 0.5 seconds, they're 5 seconds long, so 10. So it becomes greater than 10. You want to destroy that spline point. Remove spline point. Oh, just move 0. Don't need to worry about anything else. And update spline. And then the spline mesh itself. Go down here. And give that a mesh. I ain't got a mesh. Let's make one. So let's do box. Do 10 like that. 5. There you go. But make sure you give it subdivision so you can get extra bend out of it. So we want to see not width, it'd be depth. Let's say 5. Okay. Double check that is the case. Yeah. Subdivisions, there you go. Okay, so yeah, we can use that mesh. Yeah, so we can do add spline mesh. Whoop. Spline mesh component, and that'd be doing the for each loop, and much like the and be repeating this again. Spline get spline points. I'm sorry, no, I want to do for each, don't I? For loop, not for each, for loop. 0 to 9. Body. I don't know, something like this. I'm too tired, I think. So, get point at get tangent location. That's spline point. Blah blah blah. Yeah, and so on. Yeah, so you could totally do that and then use that for the collision as well, because this has collision events on it, like overlap events. Just to make it so it has collision overlap all. Do that. So if you've already got the spline set up, I'm not going to bother doing it now. Just too much work. But if you've got the spline already in there, just make sure the collision preset is changed to overlap all, and then you can do overlaps with that. But yeah. Okay. Dylan, yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah, they are. Subsystems are made. Do you know how to make a blueprint subsystem? Yes, it's just all in C++. So it's just basically another thing you can access when you make one in C++. Yeah. So download the source engine of the code of the engine, and then you can do it. But you have to know C++. Another question. How long we got? Yeah, another question. Vincent, how to set up a fast forward time effect between day and night, and how to spawn enemies at certain times of day. I mean, it's not. You're talking about simulation. I'm guessing you're talking about simulation. Fast forwards. No. That's a quick answer to that. If you've got a simulated thing going in your game, chances are that simulation should have like a timer aspect to it, and therefore you work out what it would the end result would be with that new time involved. But there's no simple like make this thing go quick. You fake it animating when doing things, and like fake the sun going through the sky. That's not a problem. But in actual simulation terms, like let's say you got a character walking from point A to point B, and I want to speed up their time. All I'm technically doing is making them move faster in that point if I'm watching them. If I'm not watching them, then I'll take their location, take the speed that they're going at, look at how fast they should be going at, and I can work out the new location based on that. So, yeah, do that. How to design a good UI? Research and inspiration. So, strongly recommend. Using the game UI database. Yeah. If you've never seen this website, it's really, really useful. Do your research, get inspiration, and then figure out what would actually be good for what you want to try and do. There's a ton of games on here, and they're really well laid out and really well featured as well. So, for example, if I go look at probably Donkey Kong Country's Returns, I can look at how their menus are laid out, the UI in the game. Sometimes there's video in here too. And if I'm interested, like I want to learn how or get inspiration for a health bar, for example, I can just type in health here. I can find health in screenshots here, and I can find so why is it redacted? Oh, the game's called Redacted. Sorry. Yeah, you can find health and status things like that. So why does it not come up with one? It should come up with that. Enemy health, player vitals. There you go. So player vitals. You can see how different games have done it in different ways. So do your research, see what other people have done. That's the first step. Second step is think about the user experience more so. I did an example with my new game that I'm working on. Ed Coates. Yeah, Ed Coates was the creator of this thing. In my new game, for example, I added some UI elements in there, and I added some extra UI elements because the first ones weren't fulfilling what I wanted to achieve. And so it comes down to like, how can I make this feel satisfying, give good feedback to the player, be thematic, and be understandable. Okay, so I did that for the chicken game that I'm working on. Yeah, and it worked quite well in that. And But yeah, it's a lot of just like thinking about what your design goals are for the game, thinking about what your design goal for each element is, and how best to communicate that across. Yeah, and that's essentially it. That's designing a UI, then actually making the UI. Um, a good practice thing to do is go on this website and try and copy the UI that you see first of all, and then make your own. It's a good challenge to set yourself to get used to a UMG and figuring out how things are done. Now some of it you'll have to go into like Photoshop or similar things and get access to images and create your own sort of artwork if you want to. But not necessarily the case. You could do it without it, I guess. But it depends on what you're trying to do. Yeah, that's about it, really. Can't think of anything else. Get Spline into game of UI, then feed it into suing you. Yeah. What's the best online course to learn UE5? It depends on what you want to learn. There's games, visual effects, animation, and inside the games and all those ones, there's other sub things to go into. There's not going to be one course where you learn everything. You'll probably get one course which will touch upon a lot of stuff, but it won't go into super detail with a lot of it. So it really, you want to pick up anything that gives you the fundamentals, something that will help you pick up the basics to just go on your own, because there is going to be an element of you going on your own at the end, because no course can show you absolutely everything. It's impossible. So you'd have to learn the fundamentals, learn the foundations of how the engine works and what you're doing with it, and then more importantly, you learn how to teach yourself. So for example, state trees, good example. State trees are relatively new in Unreal, and I'm going through figuring out good practice to use them in and what good use cases they have, and then making them into videos for you guys. But before that, I'm just experimenting, just trying out new ideas. Nothing super extravagant. Do you have a favorite mech game? I'm not a big mech person, but the only one I really played a lot of was Zone of the Enders. But even that, would you count that as a mech game? I guess so, but it's not really mech. Yeah, I'm not a big mech game person. Yeah. Excellent. Okay, I think we're gonna have to end it there, unfortunately. I'll tell you what though, I'll give you all guys a sneak peek at Chicken if you want. I think you'll be the first ones to see it in all its glory. Jesse, it might be about how you're doing. Last update. Yeah, so my son, yeah, he is still in and out of hospital for various things. We got confirmation that he had a genetic disorder that we are actively looking into and getting support in. It's a lifelong thing he has to worry about, but it just means that we have to be extra vigilant with him. He will get sick more than most people. He's at higher risk for various other things. So there's a lot of work on that side of things, getting a lot of stress to deal with. And we are actively doing that, but he is fine. It's just every now and then there's a little flare up or something we have to go check out. Yeah, but no, overall, like big picture, yeah, fine. We are. It was hard going when we found out he had this disorder, but yeah, it's called George's syndrome. It's sort of like, I think it's like second to Down syndrome. And it's not anything like really visible that you'd see. It's just a thing that, whereas we looked through the symptoms, it was ticking off a load of things on his list. We're like, ah, okay, this might be something. And then 2 years after we asked for it, we got the genetic results back, and yeah, he came back as positive for it. So it basically means he has like learning difficulties, which he does, speech impediment, which he does, high risk arthritis, which he does. But now we have to be extra careful because a large proportion of people with Georges do have higher risk for heart defects and heart disease and things like that. So we have to get his heart checked out regularly, and his kidneys. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Yes, she is amazing. Yeah. State trees, in your opinion, are positive evolution of behavior trees. Yeah, they yeah, they are good. I think there's room for both, obviously, to exist, and there's pros and cons to both existing. Like another pro of state tree is that you can communicate a lot easier between tasks. But it does mean you usually have to like information usually has to come from the state tree side. You can't usually, the practice is you don't usually feed the state tree information. The state tree gets information. So, if that makes any sense. Yeah. So I'll tell you about a chicken game. It's called the Chick King. It should be on Steam to wishlist soon. Literally, I started making it in February because I wanted to make a game for my kids to play. And they can't play Mimic for obvious reasons, being an 18 and all. But I wanted to make a game about chickens. And the reason why it was chickens is because I wanted to make a game like Lemmings. And that was not multiplayer. I wanted to do something single player that was a bit more easygoing. And I wanted to make a game like Lemmings, but with chickens. And well, I didn't go in thinking I must make a game of chickens. It was like I want to make a game like Lemmings, and chickens just felt good, parallel to that in the sense that they're quote unquote dumb creatures that will just go where food is and things like that. So it's kind of like luring them to that. So this is what you're seeing here is about. Well, I started in February, and I obviously haven't done it full time. I've been doing it so you probably see like if you condense it all down to like 3 weeks work, 2-3 weeks work. But yeah, I'll show you. I should play it in standalone, really. This is the first time I've ever shown this game publicly, but it'll be playable come Saturday for people at this show. So one of the things I went into this game with is I want everything to be tactile and friendly for children to play with. So everything you touch and do interacts. So it makes a noise, moves, animates, like including the logo, the chickens. I can grab them. I can click on the floor. Yeah, we're gonna play the game. So the idea of the game is we've got to make the chickens get from their starting point, the portal, which they've been teleported through, to their coop. This guy's called Henry. He's a big fan of chickens. But yeah, so here the chickens come, and here they wander. I've got to get them from there to the coop. Okay, and so you got the little coop thing indicating where they are. You got another the new UI thing I mentioned is up here. But so to help you with this, you've got potions, which you can use to buff chickens, and you've got environmental objects that you can also do too. And the level ends when you get the king home. It also ends when he dies. Obviously, you have to start again if he dies. But I say you can click on all these things. You've got like signposts you can just click on, wooden things. I really want to make it very tactile. So the idea being that you eventually have this on iPad or iPhone, and you can just tap on it, and it'll make noises and things. You click on stuff. So I really want to make it click, 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 click everywhere. But anyway, so we can do like things like this, speed them up, and then use this one to launch them. Get hidden golden eggs. Click on the switches here to lower it up. Yay! Next level. So I've done about four levels for this so far. Is it going to load the next level? Should do. Yep, there you go. You love the egg thwobber. Yeah, here's another one. So this one we've got like another thing. We've got like a thing that squashes them. And you've got, this is where you get to learn about using the green one, which is like sticky feet. So this makes them climb steep hills like this, for example. Also, you've got spikes now to deal with. You can click and drag it everywhere you want as well. So you want to be careful that you don't knock the chicken over. Hit the little feathers, get bonus points. If you hold a chicken still, like here, it will act like a wall and block chickens off. Like that. Okay, so I'm going to hold him still until the chicken gets in the way. Okay, right, now I'm going to go that. They're all going to pop. We'll give a little bit of help there. Okay, so now I've got to get past the thwobber. Oh, we'll go hold you back. There you go. And got the chicken home. And obviously you can go back and try and get all the chickens in. You can get a maximum of 20 home. You can try and go back and get all the eggs as well. There's eggs hidden in all the levels. Yeah. I'll show you. Yeah, I might as well show you the other two levels. So yeah, this is about I say about 3 weeks work. The only being going back to that scalable option, everything in here has been done so that we can quickly make levels as well. So all the things are very like systematic and dynamic, and we can just drag them in and start making levels out of it pretty quickly. And then it comes down to making the levels feel very satisfying and authentic. Modular, that's the question. That's the answer. That's a word. I'm too tired. So now we've got this one. It's like an underground level. Here we've got new things. We've got the fireball splitter thing. We can click on the fireballs, wait and pop. I can also click on this thing. It will just push it around like physics and things. Like protect the chickens. We've got pipes. And not in this level, but in the pipes, there are pipes you can rotate and turn around, so you can make little mazes out of them and redirect them in the right places. So like you can click on it, it'll turn bits around. Okay, so they're going to go into the pipe there. There's an egg over there. So you got to try and figure out how you can get that egg there. So you do something like hold this chicken here. That'll turn that one around, and now I can spin that over there. Launch that over the things. Oh, popped it. Whoops. There you go. But that one got there. Okay. And then you got the ones up here. Do that. Do that. And we'll do a launcher. Oh, the chicken can have fallen. Damn it. But yeah, literally everything in the environment can click on, makes a noise. That's one of the goals, is to make everything interactable. We're gonna make things like boxes you can pop and break and things like physics and chaos physics. We make it as tactile as possible for people. Just so it's like fun to sort of touch, basically, not just play. Get that one. There you go. As long as the chicken doesn't die, you're alright. The others can die. You can try and tap on all these things. I'm gonna go over here now. Go like there. Launch that one up there. Right, I'm gonna try and stop these fireballs now so I can protect the chicken. So here you've got vents now, launching the characters up. Chickens. Yeah. Yeah, and then I can hold the chicken there. There we go. Yay! Yep, we're using the ribbon for chickens, so the chickens will leave the ribbon behind them when they speed up. It's been super fun to make. It's been nice to make a game that isn't multiplayer. That's been the biggest joy of this game. Because it's been an absolute nightmare. But yeah, very Blizzard, the interaction stuff, because like Hearthstone's approach to it. But one of my favourite things in this is like the chandelier. We can touch and swing the chandelier. And that, I instantly went, ooh, I can make that into a platform and try and get chickens to land on it and things like that. Another one I like is this picture frame in the background. So this is using physics, so I can click on it and it'll break the hanging points. And if I break the other one, it'll not come falling down. I was quite chuffed with that. The way that works is that it's hanging on with 2 physics constraints. And if I click on one side versus the other side, it will determine which one side I'm picking on, and it knows which one to break. This is an elevator, this bit. So I made a little elevator. So in this one, you got to go down here. You got these barrels as well. You can pop. But I've got a green one I need to open. Open up the green one. There's the orange one. That leaves that there. Turn that off. And then we've got a cannon. And the cannon you can retarget as well. I'm just going to launch the cannon like that. But you can also re-aim it down and up. Oh, too low. I just want it to be chaotic as hell. Like, just have tons of stuff going on. Oh. Need to send the lift back down. No, don't walk that way. No, you silly chicken. I guess one up. So these would now launch up here, hopefully. Ah, damn it. Never mind. Anywho. Is that Lumen's thing? Yeah, Lumen's turned on currently. I haven't turned it off, I don't think. I think it might even been using Megalights. I can't remember now. But yeah, that's the chicken game. I'm quite happy with the progress so far, and it's really satisfying just to click on stuff and break them. Like, I want to do it to the knights as well. Like, click on the knights, they'll drop down and fall apart and things like that. Maybe knock some bricks loose, pop the lights, things like that. Well, yeah, everything should be interactable. Megalight's performance is really good. Yeah. Also, I think the limitation we'll have on that is with mobile devices. But yeah, it's there you go, my little game I make for my kids. Quite satisfying to make a little thing. So yeah, it'll be on Steam. This demo I may even put this demo out really early and say like, hey, this is a demo I'm working on. Let me know what you think. Is it something I should keep on making? That's basically it. I'm just taking it to show to see if people actually like it and want to see it continue being made. Because it's a fun little game for my kids, but do other people want it? I don't know. We'll see. The logo, that's all me. That logo. Yeah. But anyway, we have to actually go now. But hopefully you enjoyed the chicken. Let me know what you think. We'll turn this off now because that's going to be annoying with the chickens and things. But thank you so much, everyone, for your time today. Thank you for your questions. Hopefully, you've learned something and had a good time. We're back again on live stream, hopefully next week. We won't be. Oh no. There'll be a video on Friday. Yeah, there will be different deaths upon the die. So if they get hit by the one I want to do is when I hit by a fireball, they turn into a roast chicken. Things like that. I don't know. They just pop. Yeah, things like that. But like, I even went into like doing things like I made little control rigs for the chickens, so I can make my own animations for the chickens as well. So that popping animation is had by a control rig. And like, pop. But anyway, take care. Have a good night, everyone. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Not yet. It'll be available very soon. I've submitted it to Steam, so we'll see. Take care, everyone.